I have here a new Uniden R3 radar detector that is turning out to be one of the most popular radar detectors that have ever been sold on the radarbusters.com website. And as such, the technical support department of Radar Busters has been fielding a lot of questions of late from new users as to how to best configure this radar detector to derive the best performance possible, as well as delivering the quietest ride possible. So what we've decided to do is to create a video here to take you through exactly how to program this radar detector. Fortunately for our sakes, the Uniden R3 and the R1 radar detectors are the easiest, just about the easiest detectors I've ever had the pleasure of working with to configure. So this is actually a very simple radar detector to program. And also, fortunately for us, the performance of this radar detector is about the highest that I've ever had the pleasure of driving with, and that's nearly 40 years of driving. And the nice thing about it is this radar detector is pretty much set to do its job right out of the box, but there are going to be times that you want to custom program and configure this radar detector to even take the performance up and experience to even a higher level. And fortunately, again, this is a very easy thing to do. You'll notice there are two buttons on the front. The left button does two things. It mutes when you have an active alert, and you can also press it and unmute the signal. It also can change the brightness settings of the radar detector. Press it once. Then you can press it again quickly, unmute it.
Mute memory.
Press it twice to mute and store it in the database so it won't alert once you come by again.
Delete mute memory.
And then press it again.
Delete mute memory. Mute memory
To delete it and have the alert come back. So that's how the mute works with GPS. You can also use the smart cord.
Mute memory.
With the push button, do the same thing. On the right side, you have a mark button which can mark a location if you want to be reminded of it. For example, in Pennsylvania, we have something called VASCAR. You can mark that location so when you drive by it, you'll get a warning that you're approaching that location. With the Uniden R1, you'll have the city button here, which can change the sensitivity from highway to city, and then the city 2. City mode reduces X-band and K-band sensitivity. City 2 mode, if you have X-band enabled, will disable X-band altogether and leaving K-band sensitivity reduced. Now, generally you see here, we're going to use it on highway mode. To get into the more advanced programming features of the R3, we're going to use the top buttons. Now, since the city button on the front is changed from the city mode and sensitivity of the Uniden R1 to the R3, you have to change the sensitivity from the top menu button, so it serves two purposes. So to change the sensitivity, you'll press and hold the front menu button here.
City.
And it changes it to city mode, which reduces both X and K sensitivity. If you press it and hold it again,
City 2.
You'll go to City 2 mode, which changes the, again, the K-band to reduce sensitivity, but also disables X-band altogether. We're going to put it, and you can see it indicates here no X-band. So we're going to put it back to highway mode. And now we're going to get into the advanced configuration of this radar detector. It's very easy to get into the menu configuration of the Uniden R1 and R3. All you need to do is press the menu button quickly.
Menu.
And to exit the menu system when you're done making changes, you can press and hold it.
Exit.
And it exits. So let's get in to the menu system, and we can use the plus and minus keys of the volume to go this direction to the right or to cycle the other direction as well. So we're going to go use the volume plus to go to the right, and we'll go back here and we'll disable the GPS functions.
GPS off.
And then we'll press and hold the menu to get out of the menu system. And then you're going to see the display. That's pretty much what the Uniden R1 looks like. It's got the heartbeat feature and the scanning curves, or whatever you want to call it, the scanning lines. It shows on the left side your voltage of your battery, and on the right side it shows the sensitivity that's currently selected, whether it's highway, city, or city 2. So what we're going to do now, since it's the Uniden R3, we're going to get into the menu system again. We're going to turn on the GPS by hitting the menu button quickly.
GPS on.
And then we'll press and exit the menu system again.
Exit. GPS connected.
And you'll see now we have more advanced display here, where we have the speed on the left side in miles per hour, GPS time, and then on the right, the sensitivity again. So we're going to get in and then start taking you through the advanced menu options of the menu system and configuration system. So we press it quickly. We go to the right, and we're going to leave GPS on. When you have GPS features on, you're going to see the speed camera. If you wanted to turn them off or on, you can do that. We're going to leave them on. We'll go to the right, and then you'll see the red light camera alerting. You can turn that on or off.
Red light camera alarm on.
You can just toggle by hitting the plus, the menu button very quickly. We'll go to the right. This is the red light camera quiet ride, which is if you're driving on a highway, and sometimes you can pick up an adjacent red light camera, and you can turn the alerting of this off based on your speed. Now, I'm loath to use this feature because in a number of intersections, they'll have something called speed on green, where they'll alert and issue you a ticket if you are speeding through a green light. So I generally don't want to use this, but if you were to on the highway and you do get falses, I would turn it to something like a 75 or 70, and you're not typically going to be going through a red light camera monitored intersection at those speeds. If you wanted to set it to 65, you could do that. We'll go to the voice on, where it'll give you band identification and voice as well, so it'll indicate K band or X band or KA band or laser. You can either have that on or off.
Voice on.
And we'll leave it on. Now, X band by default is turned off. If you drive in states like Ohio and New Jersey, you'll want to turn that on because they still use X band in those states. K band is something you always want to leave on. K band is used pretty much in just about every state.
K band off.
This is how you can turn it off, though. And then we'll go to the next KA band.
KA band off.
Again, you'd want to leave that on because certainly KA band is used extensively. We go to the right, of course, laser.
Laser off.
You want to leave that on so the detector will alert you to police laser. K-pop. This detector has K-pop detection on, as well as KA band. I don't use K-pop or KA-pop because I've never seen it.
Pop off.
So I'm going to leave it in the off position. If you turn it on, some detectors may lose some performance to K and KA. So I'm just going to leave these off. And K filter is for filtering out the collision avoidance systems that you're going to see. So I'm going to turn that on by pressing the menu button quickly. The KA filter off, you can leave that off or on. I don't get many falses on KA, but if you do, you can turn it on.
Filter on.
And there we go. TSF is the traffic sensor filter. You'll see these in Ohio and other cities where they have these, California on many of the highways, which will be used for detecting the volume of traffic, and they blast K-band
off
for short periods of time. This will help make that quiet when you're driving through those areas. For the most part, you can leave that off because you're not going to see them often. KY mode, This is the standard sweep of K.
K narrow.
I prefer K narrow, which doesn't really expose you an increased risk of detection of genuine police radar. And I would take it to K narrow. It'll reduce some of the falsing. KA narrow
KA-wide.
versus KA wide. This will sweep the very wide KA band.
KA narrow.
I prefer KA narrow, which focuses on the 3 radar bands in KA used in North America.
On. Off.
All threat feature is a very interesting configuration and gives you a lot of information. If we turn it on, when the detector alerts, you'll get your primary frequency here and signal strength. You see we're picking up 2 additional K sources. And that's what the all threats is showing. Now 3, total of 3 plus the primary. So we have a total of 4 alerts at the moment that it's capable of showing. And this is unique to Uniden, where you can see the primary with the frequency, the signal strength, as well as the other bands, whatever they are, XK, KA, with the appropriate signal strength for each of the individual signals. So that's the all threats mode, display mode. So that's a really nice feature. Now we'll go into the color display mode. This OLED display has 6 colors. We can make changes from blue to amber to green to pink to gray, which is basically like a light blue white, and then red. I think blue looks really nice, but you can custom tailor the display colors to the interior of the vehicle or to your particular preferences. Scan off. This is again where you can turn on or off the that scanning display. If we go now to the display, you can actually configure what's shown on the detector. You can set it to speed mode,
Speed. Compass.
speed and compass to give you both speed and the direction you're traveling,
Compass.
or just the compass.
Voltage meter.
It can also display your current voltage. This is what normally the R1 will display, but
Altimeter.
and this also includes an altimeter for those who are really flying and care to know what altitude they're at.
Speed.
My
Speed,
preference is
compass.
to have the speed and compass display going on. You can change your units from miles per hour
Kilometer
to
per
kilometers per hour for areas like in Canada where they use kilometers.
Mile per
Since
hour.
we're in the United States, we'll put it back to miles per hour. Auto mute on is a nice feature where it will, after a second or two of alerting it, whatever your volume setting is,
Auto mute off.
will reduce the muting so it's not as annoying if you're getting a false or you're behind something that's setting the detector off for any extended period of time.
Auto mute on.
We'll leave it on. This has backlit, so if you want to have these buttons lit,
Backlight off.
you can have them on or off to your preference.
Backlight on.
We'll leave them back on. Quiet ride is a nice feature where you can set your auto muting based on the speed you're traveling. When you're driving around town, oftentimes you really don't need to be alerted, so you can set it to 45. That's a good speed setting. You can take it up even higher. So any speed under this setting will cause the detector to alert in a muted mode. You can leave it off. I'm going to put it back to like 40 or 45, which is where I typically use it when I drive around town. The limit speed is another interesting feature if you need to be reminded. I don't use it, but if you want to set your speed to, like, say 80, and if you're drifting up to that speed, it will alert you that you've exceeded that speed. You can take it all the way up to 100 for those who are bold. I generally leave it off, but that is something you can do. Okay, this is interesting. Just like Whistler, this uses or can give you GPS time, which is a time from the satellites. And what you can do is step through the time zone that you're in. And in my case, on the East Coast, I'm GMT -5. So I'll take it, and this will make the adjustment equivalently to where you are. And then you can turn on daylight savings on or off. And in the case of this time of year, we're in daylight savings.
Saving time
So
on.
that'll make also the corrections when you need them to your time. Battery warning off. This can tell you if your battery is getting low and alert you to that effect.
Low battery warning
leave it off. Battery saver off is also a nice feature. If
Vehicle battery saver
your
on.
radar detector is either hardwired or plugged into a cigarette lighter where the
Vehicle battery saver off.
where the ignition doesn't kill the power, you can
Vehicle battery saver on.
turn it on, and when your vehicle is stopped for an extended period of time, it'll automatically turn off the radar detector. So we'll leave that on. Self-test on. This will take you through all of the alerts that the detector is capable of alerting to.
Self-test on.
And once you're familiar with it, you can turn it off, which I do, which makes the detector turn on extremely quickly and ready to go. So I leave it off. And then factory reset. If you wish to reset the factory settings to the factory resetting settings,
Factory reset
you can
completed.
press it and it'll reset it. So back to the default settings.
Menu.
We'll go back this way since we're close to the end of the menu system, and there's the factory reset. We'll continue on. If you have marked muted locations, you can
Mute memory all delete completed.
delete them. Unfortunately, it comes back out of the menu system. I would have preferred to stay in the menu, but at the moment it exits out.
Menu.
So we're going to have to go back into the menu system. We'll go to the left. And these are all the muted. And you can also then delete all of your user marked locations.
User mark all delete completed.
And we'll do that as well. Again, exiting out of the menu. I would prefer that it stays in the menu.
Menu.
So we'll get back in, and we're just about done here. We go to the right, and you can see here's the version of the user interface and the firmware. It also tells you what the database version is, 4.5.2017 in this case, for your photo enforcement, red light and speed camera database. And you can get to the exit, so that's another way to exit the menu.
Exit.
2 ways.
Menu.
Press quickly,
Exit.
press and hold, or cycle all the way through. So that is the menu and configuration. And as I say, it's pretty simple. I hope this video tutorial has been informative. And if you have any other questions, give Radar Busters a call. They have the best pre- and post-sales technical support that you're going to find in the business, bar none. And they'll be able to answer any questions you may still have. For those of us who are lucky enough to drive with either the Uniden R3 and R1, especially with the configuration, you're going to find this is probably going to be one of the very best driving experiences you've ever had. And so, anyway, on behalf of the entire Radar Busters family, thanks for watching.